Hello, and welcome to this special video on the Star Trek Trek to New Jersey, which was held at the Hanover Marriott Hotel on September 6th to 7th, 2025. This video is about the panels that took place specifically with Kate Mulgrew and William Shatner. Kate Mulgrew has shown in 11 films, 51 TV shows, 35 plays in theater, 11 video games, and she's been either won or been nominated for 22 awards. So you're about to hear from some of her questions and answers in her panel. And also we'll hear from William Shatner's questions and answers in his panel. He's shown in 73 films, 128 TV shows, 14 video games, and has been awarded and or won 62 awards.
Daily price. Oh, that's all right. So where are you lining up? Somebody asked me a question. Okay, go on. And you can ask me anything. Anything. Hi, Kate. I will discuss anything. Yes.
Thank you so much for being here today.
Death wish comes immediately to mind. The choice to end one's life. If one's life is infinity. If one's life is eternal. So Q is one thing. Q, that beast. Never take a bath with Q. When his nephew comes to me and says, I don't want to live forever. I would like to die. I would like to have the right to make that choice. Will you help me? That was diabolically difficult for Janeway, who so loves life. And in fact, I think I said, I like this life. You might too. Think hard before you give it up. But in the end, I had to defer to the greater philosophical question. Would I want to live for eternity? I don't think so. But it was a terribly difficult thing, and I thought essentially brilliant Star Trek, didn't you? Yeah. When they ask these questions, this is what makes me, instead of having a bunch of lizard babies on the turbo lift. Lieutenant Paris, that was a bottle show. I loved those other shows, so thank you for that. Joe Hill is Stephen King's son. And he really writes like a dream. But Nosferatu almost killed me. Because I jumped in, I was prepared. I'd read it a couple of times, but I hadn't taken apart each of the 65 characters. And the voice I chose for Nosferatu was very, very difficult voice to sustain over a period of 10 days in reading this in a booth. But I very much enjoyed doing it. I love doing audiobooks. I love the privacy of the booth, which is why I love doing Prodigy. You know? Bye-bye, Prodigy. Sitting on somebody's desk at Netflix, on the bubble. On the bubble? Well, on what bubble? On your bubble. Because this is genius stuff, Prodigy. It is. Kevin and Dan Hageman created something that's never been seen before. And for an audience made for Star Trek. Children.
Amen.
Amen indeed. Children who are just going to absorb it like sponges. What did they do? They pulled it. I'm really furious about that. And I understand that some of you got together some money. There was a fundraiser, and you hired a little plane, and you flew it over Netflix with the banner, "Bring back Prodigy, or else." Yeah, she looked up from her desk. Or else what? Anyway, too bad about Prodigy. Did I answer your question?
Yes.
What advice would you give my two daughters?
I don't have to give your daughters any advice at all. For one simple reason, and I'm only going to say this once, she said, lying. Every woman is strong, and every woman knows she's strong. This is inarguable and indisputable. We give life, right? Whoever ordained that the female will give life, right? That requires a little strength, wouldn't you say? We are essentially strong. It's how we're raised that can diminish us. It's how we're treated that can bring us low. We are, in all of our strength, also compassionate and want very much to love and to be loved. So if we have a father or a brother or a boyfriend who's not very nice, we get quiet. And the strength has to go into another room. And I am urging every woman in this room who has had to struggle with this to rise above it. You are not only strong, you are terrific. You can do anything you want. Anything. I don't understand why, and I say this with love because I love and adore men. Adore you. I just adore you. But you know, this boys club thing must change. And we all have to start dancing again. Because it's a dance. There aren't 3 genders, there are 2. Well, now I suppose there are like 10. But, there are 2 major.
Oh, that's not hard.
Have you got like, you know, a couple of months? We'll take a suite of rooms. I think about it a lot. I read about it a lot. With the advent of AI, I'm both madly curious and slightly nervous. Why shouldn't there be other life? How very narrow of me to suggest that it's just us. But then again, you have to realize the Earth, which is a tiny, tiny planet, I mean, we're a tiny star, has a relationship with the solar system that nobody else seems to have gotten. It could be 1 in a billion, gazillion. It could be just Earth. But I don't think so. And I think that also the genius of Star Trek is it doesn't have to be anything recognizable to us. It's a bit like discussing God. God is not knowable. God is profoundly unknowable. And so may be these species. I have a son, my oldest son, Ian, who's smart, who says he thinks that maybe we are being observed, but we are of so little consequence to this other species. We are of such little significance to them that they just go about their business and view us as little ants in an anthill. Or somebody like Tom Campbell, who thinks we are an installation of some kind. I mean, the possibilities are endless. But if I had to throw a dart, I would say yes, there is other life. There's life everywhere. I mean, space is infinite, right? Yeah. Thank you. It was an intrepid vessel, right? This was an explorer ship, smaller, sleeker, faster. You were to feel the bridge, the closeness of the crew. You're to feel also the intensity of Janeway's grief when she loses a member of her crew on that bridge. You're always to feel their togetherness when I swing out of the ready room onto the bridge, past Tuvok, over to Mr. Kim, who never got promoted, down the steps, to Lieutenant Paris, who was always reading a novel under their forecastle, and then maybe B'Elanna was there. Hi, are you waiting or are you saying 5 minutes? It's always so sad. Anyway, I can do what I want. It's gonna kill me. Yeah, but that's a great question. And yes, coming from a man, I think that's a very good question. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Did you all get that sense that the ship was sleek, fast, tight? Everything that was happening was kind of, yes, intense. I love intensity. Yes, question.
Hi, my name is...
See, when you're 24, you announce it with absolute glee and confidence. Do you get it? Even at 33, I'm 33. How old are you? 24. You bet you're 24, baby. You're gonna have a great life. Here's my advice. Write every day. Make it a discipline. Make it a schedule. Don't be an idiot. No, don't be sloppy, or you'll never get the book or the story written. Get to the word process, get to your computer from 9 to 12, take a break from 12 to 2, and go back from 3 to 4. Work 4 hours a day, and you will write. Read Virginia Woolf, read Marcel Proust, read all the Russians. That's Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, that's Turgenev. Read, 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 and don't read on your computer or on your Kindle. I don't care. I don't care. Take the book, the precious book that somebody lost their life writing, and open it, and smell it, and kiss it, and read it, and get deeper, get smarter, feel more, stand up. You're 24, and you're a writer. Dismissed.
Physicists and engineers and astronauts, and also a Kansas City girl who said, "I don't think Janeway would like that," and stood up to her teachers when they said something I thought was kind of rude.
Good woman. How do you think it feels?
I think it'd feel pretty amazing if it was me.
You know, a lot of actresses have had, you could probably say, more stellar careers. I mean, look at Meryl Streep. She's an absolutely great actress. She's played it all. There are wonderful actresses in this world who've been given marvelous opportunities, and they will shine forever. But I doubt that there is an actress in this world who affected or influenced women in STEM more than I did with Janeway.
Yeah.
And when I go to sleep at night, with the usual anxieties of being a human being, I am calmed by that reality. Nothing could have been, or is, more gratifying to me as an actor than that I had something to do with the elevation of women in science. It's great. It's great. I'm so proud. Yes. Thank you. Before I had to shoot the scene, where I come on and I say, we're lost in an uncharted part of the universe, galaxy, blah, blah, blah. I have to go around and tell them all how awful it is. The Maquis, we're going to work with the Maquis, we're going to work with this weird alien species. We're all going to get together, it's going to be fine, I'm going to get you home. And they're all sobbing, and it's just terrible. And my secret thought was, Janeway says, I will get you home. Set a course. She goes into her ready room, the doors close, and she goes, yes! Lost in the Delta Quadrant. Music to her whole being. She was a complete explorer, a scientist down to her toes. And I think that that's why Mulgrew Janeway had such an effect on women in science. I'm taking one more question, and then we're going to have to say goodbye. Listen to me very, very, very carefully.
Okay.
I want you to go home. I think your father's with you, but I want you to go home to your mother and say this. Being the captain. And the first female captain of a starship. You can't beat it, kid. Thank you. Thank you, New Jersey.
You see, like, right, you've got to rivet your energy and you have to have the words right there. You can't hesitate. You can't, by that time 5 people have left, like this person right here. I said, and they're gone. A half moon just moved. So somebody in Australia said, would you do a one-man show And I thought, you know, I could do a one-man show in Australia, and if it was terrible, nobody would know. So I agreed to do it. It was very successful. I toured Australia. Why Star Trek is successful. In my callow youth, when somebody said, why is it so successful? I thought, I have no idea why the show I was on was successful, why all the other iterations are successful. Everybody has a different opinion of why it is. I have no idea. I've never seen another Star Trek. I've never seen another Star Trek. I was asked a couple of years ago, to go on stage, and there were a lot of people, they were celebrating, I don't know, maybe the 50th anniversary. There was a reason to stand on stage in front of a large group of people, and something I had written and was written for me at the same time on a teleprompter way back there. And so I got to the stage, backstage, obviously a half an hour or so before I was going to go on. What do I say? So the guy with the teleprompter said, well, here's what you say. And I read it a couple of times. Okay, I got it. And there was a young lady, African-American young lady there. Hi, how are you? And he said, the guy on the teleprompter said, all right, she's going to go out that way, you're going to go out that way, and your cue to start talking is when the television set goes on, when the teleprompter goes on. I said, okay. Now here's William Shatner, and I didn't understand the other name, and standing in front, and then waiting, thank you very much, thank you, boom, the light is on, and I'm saying the words. Not quite the same words that I had gone through backstage, but hey, I gotta talk because it's on camera, people are there, thousands of people, I gotta read it. So I read it, now I come across words I am familiar with. And then there's a thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and applause. She goes that way, and I go that way backstage. And I'm backstage, and I see she's crying in the arms of her agent. And they're both staring at me, and I realize I had read her words as well as mine. So, Star Trek. Why is it still on? Why are we celebrating the 60 years, for crying out loud? No, I don't want you to applaud. I want you to suggest why Star Trek has affected you, why are you here? Why are you here? So I'm writing a book, so go and register at WilliamShatner.com on the table. Both guys are working the table, and it's been an interesting adventure, as I will do some of the interviews. Henry V, once more, under the breach, dear friends, once more. One of the sentences that I can remember. So I'm the understudy to
Christopher Plummer.
Great Canadian.
Christopher Plummer.
I was auditioning him. Hey, Rod Murray, what you do here? And I liked what I saw, because what I saw was kind of magical. Then I saw what NBC executives had seen. It wasn't quite, it was a little ponderous. And I thought maybe more humor, and that was my thought. And we made another pilot, and it sold, and 60 years later, we're here! Is there a microphone over there?
Awesome.
Well, what do you mean? Describe awesome.
I wasn't expecting to be the one answering questions.
I didn't understand. Okay. What do you mean by awesome? Tell me a story quickly.
Well, I will do that.
Of engaging an adolescent in the beauty of the English language and the beauty of literature to begin with.
Well, one of the things that I do is I show the kids City on the Edge of Forever.
No kidding.
No kidding. And last year was the first year I did this. We had a week before the Christmas break, and I wanted to do something a little fun, a little educational, you know. And so we approached it with the trolley problem, whether the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the one.
Yeah. What was the answer you got from the kids?
Varied, very much so. A lot of people saw that, you know, Edith needed to die, but some people said that they would do whatever they could to save her.
Yeah, but City on the Edge of Forever, I've seen very few of the segments, really, truly, but that's one I've seen more than once. It is the philosophy behind that is if only I could go back in time and fix this mistake I made years ago. That's essentially, we all have that, oh boy, if I only turned left, if only I had bought NVIDIA when it was $2. So what did your kids think about that?
So specifically, there was this one girl, very popular girl, never would have expected in my life, showed it to the class, did the work, had the debates, period ends. She calls me up to where her desk is. I go, hey, what's up? And she's very quiet. The kids call me Mix. Mix, I kind of low-key loved that. Where can I watch more? Right? So I tell her where. And she watches more. And she apparently loves TOS now. Why do you think this still resonates with teenagers today?
Well, I think everybody, I just looked, I wish I could show it to you, it's on my phone. My grandson sent a little piece of film of his son, so it's my great-grandson, who wanted to pose for a picture, but he didn't understand the word pose. So his father, you can hear his father's voice, so the camera's on this 2.5-year-old, and the father says, you want to pose for a picture? He says, yeah, I want to pose for a picture. And he says, well, pose for a picture. No, pose for a picture, pose. And he's dancing around, saying a pose, a posing, a pose. I'm not doing it like he did it. It is so funny to see this child wrestling with one word, pose. He didn't understand the word pose, but he knew he had to do something, so he started dancing around. I'm posing, pose, and then he breaks himself up, starts laughing, and disappears around a corner. It's the intimation of the quality of what words can do, the magic of words. And in our language, it's English, but of course it is any communication. Once the human being understands that word, love, means all these things, or numerous things. Once a dog realizes it can communicate with you. Once a tree realizes that it can send electrochemical signals along the mycelium of the fungi to the baby trees out there. Electrochemical signals! Our dendrites are taking electrochemical signals. Our brain works on that same principle. What communication can be done between everything. Everything is intertwined. Everything is intertwined. And we all can communicate in one form or another with everything else. had an idea, and I don't know where it's going to go at this point, for a story in which a house that was built of wood from the forest surrounding it, magically, secretly, imaginatively takes a hand in the troubles of the people who are living in the house. People living in the house have their own problems, and every so often the house reacts. Lightning strike, a stumble, a painting drops. Something interferes with the everyday life of these people who are having a problem because the house interferes with their life, because the house is made of the same wood that the trees are in the surrounding forest. Everything is interconnected, and to communicate that to an adolescent who's stumbling around wondering whether the boy likes her or not, to see that, I've seen it, where people go, oh, is that what that means? And suddenly, the idea of learning, not only English, but math, the magic of mathematics is with us all the time. Mathematics may be the language of the universe. We're surrounded by all this magic stuff that English and its communication, which you're doing, is of critical importance. That's how I feel about it. Thank you. That influence is widespread, much wider spread than I totally realized for a long while. For example, this documentary that I wanted to make, that I was $250,000 shy, or I only had to, it was going to be a lot more than $250,000. So, what am I going to do? How am I going to, to heck with it. There is a airplane manufacturer in Canada. I'm Canadian. 3 people, you really hate Canadians, don't you? You're taxing us out of existence, for God's sake. You're happy, aren't you, taxing? Steel will be that much higher. Our fresh air, we're not going to send you anymore. So, I think Bombardier makes airplanes. I'm going to call them. Again, this is the angel on my shoulder. So I call Bombardier, I-E-R, and I call Toronto, and rings, the operator says, yes, this is Bombardier. I said, can I speak to the chairman, please, the president? Yes, just a moment. And ring. Hello, is this the president? Yes, this is Mr., and I've forgotten his name, Mr. Coutier. Can I speak to Mr. Coutier? Just a moment, please. Ring. Hello, this is Mr. Coutier. Oh, hi. I'm William Shatner. Oh, my God. William Shatner, really? What can I do for you? I said, well, I need an airplane. I got to fly from Los Angeles to Toronto to England to New York. He says, okay. What? I'll get you an airplane. But it has to contain 30, 40. I'm being interviewed, and I will talk about the things I've got going. And this wonderful show, The Unexplained, has gotten really popular. And then I'm working with Neil deGrasse Tyson on a show, and then my daughter and I are planning a podcast about aging, how you age, and what you can do, and things that are around the corner medicine is just on the lip of great discoveries. The doctor I was going to said, give me 2 years. Give me 2 years. And there'll be a cure for many of the things that are afflicting us now. So I met this gentleman who sent us on our way. We landed in London, and there was a Rolls Royce waiting for us. He had rented a Rolls Royce for us to go around London and talk to actors, and so it was remarkable. The influence of Star Trek on the world has been far more than I've ever thought, and I've made a dear friend right here who begat creation and all the shows he's put on with